and let's start. Welcome to our second class. And I could remind you, first of all, that we have that wonderful pre-lecture videos regarding this subject which we will talk today. So we will talk today about variables, data types, and input-output. So it is good to pay attention to these videos. Of course, you could find a lot of videos regarding Java, all the internet with that, and especially that videos which are chosen for you from O'Reilly. You should watch them and you will get a lot of good tips from that videos. But now let me jump into the question, what is programming? What is programming? Because this subject is connected to variables. So let me start with this question. How programming and variables is interconnected? And let me try to tell you a joke. I will try to do that in English. Someone asks student of first year, what is result of 2 plus 2? And he said, 4. Of course, 4. And the same question was asked to student of third year. And he said, oh, I will write a program to calculate that. And the same question asked to postgraduate, to master student. And he said, oh, come on, should I remember every constant? I will take a look somewhere. So, it is kind of joke of our years in a university. But this joke, especially to third year students, very correct regarding programming. When you ask so easy, so simple question like, what is result of 2 plus 2? Of course, every one of us could calculate or remember that, and this similar kind of tasks we could calculate. But thinking and mindset of programmer, not to calculate himself, but to delegate that to whom to program. Let program calculate. I will write a program and let this program calculate the result. So this is the mindset of programmer, to create a black box and explode Moscow. Okay, it is not about this black box. Okay, to create a black box and give to this black box some inner parameters and get some results. So the idea to give different options of that parameters and to get different results. Okay, let's move to example of math. For example, we have function this one, x squared. And we know that when we put to this function parameter 2, we will get result 4. If we put 3, we will get 9. My goodness, I'm really that student from this job. Okay, if we put 4, we get 16 and so on. So we have black box. And we put some options into this black box and we get different results. When you program this black box, after that, it is not so important how you program that. What specific algorithms work inside that black box. What is important are these parameters and these results. So for example, we have this wonderful system to come in, like to control system, how we access to the rooms. What is parameter? What is come into this system? What is parameter? No, I mean when you come to this door. What is parameter? Huh? Card. Your card. Okay? So card is some parameter which is come to some black box. Not to this, okay. To some security software box. Of course, we could understand, like software engineers, that this card have some number inside, represented in some magnetic, some specific, electronics, like material or so on. But this is not the question. So the idea that we have some parameter, and what result do we have out of that system for this parameter?
Opening the door.
Absolutely, open the door, or
Not.
or not open the door. So this simple black box have only two possible results: open or not open, and very large amount of inner parameters. Okay, we could have another, we could have another system. We have McDonald's here, yeah? It is some kind of paradise for students to have campus and McDonald's. Wow, it is really good location. So we have in that McDonald's, we have that, I don't know how to call them, when you make your order, you choose different like menu and hamburgers and yeah, so all this. So there is some software here. It is black box for us. So numerous inner parameters. What are inner parameters to this system? I will help you. It is your choice. So I choose this menu, this drink, this ice cream, and so it is many possibilities for that parameters. Somehow that parameters handle it inside, and you get your bill with your number. You take some that stuff, move to your table, and so on. And of course, staff get that list of your order, and you also pay. So it is quite hard, difficult black box. But there is also black box. You get some parameter and you get some result. So the idea of programming is to work not just with specific values. Oh, if you order hamburger, I will give you a hamburger. It's not interesting to build such a system. You should build such a system which could get a lot of different parameters, and you get different results depending on that parameter. All of that is just programming. It is what we do with our program, and you should think in such a way. What that mean? That means that you don't know exactly at the moment of developing your black box what parameters will you get. What exactly? You know that it could be this and that and another, and you prepare different variants and different options, but you have not one specific parameter. You have something, and you react to this something, and you get result. This one is variable, and that one is another variable. Like in this black box, we have variable. We don't know exactly what. Okay, it could be any of that. This is your variable, this is x, and you get your result, this is y. So you work with these variables. You think in variables, you should have variable mindset. You think with variables. You're not just like a mathematician, because mathematicians maybe think with values, but you think with variables. For you, it is okay to call x and y and a and k and different variables, and depending on that values, you will get that results, and you create black box which get that results. So this is the idea of variables. Maybe not so understandable at this point, but I would like to present you such a concept. Of course, many of you know this concept, but this is the concept of variables. They are so important, and all the programming is worked with variables. All right. Next. variables could be of different types. For example, to come or not to come to this door, it is variables with two possible values, true or false. Two possible values. We call this the most simple variables Boolean type. This type is Boolean. True or false. We could have, of course, numbers. So, talking about numbers, the most general variable for us to use is integer. Integer, it is just numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. We could have numbers with floating point, like decimal numbers, that is float or double. Double is quite bigger, have opportunity to save bigger values than float. So I mean these numbers like this, with floating point. So it is how we work with numbers, how we save numbers. These types help us to work with numbers. Okay, we have another type of variables which is connected to text. And first of all, it is char. Char, what is char? It is just one letter, one symbol. So for example, A, or for example, 3. 3 is number, but also 3 could be just a symbol, just a part of the word. Or big S, for example, or small s. So it's one char in the word, one word, and we have word consists of chars. And when we want to save just word for sentence, we use string. String is any text. We could save any text into strings. What else should I say about types? So I suppose it is kind of enough for the beginning. So we understand that in our black box, we could put different stuff here. For example, I would like to create such a black box. I give the program my name, and this program give me greetings. So I put here Sergey, and I get hello, Sergey. So this parameter, this variable, what type of this variable?
String.
Absolutely. And what type of this variable?
String.
String. So I create black box which manipulate, handle strings. So the same, for example, what your age, how old are you, for example, and I would like program said, oh hello, you are this age, or are you too young, or you too old, or I'm happy to see, and so on. So here I put my age and I put some number here, and I get also number here. So in this case I work with integer, and my program work is with integer. I could put integer and get string results. So there are many cases, many options. So of course Java, Python, JavaScript, PHP, Pascal, C++, all the languages, they work with different data types. They work with different types of variable. Okay. There are some difference between Python and Java, for example. So let me ask you, how many of you worked with Python before? So quite many people. Okay. How many of you worked with Pascal before? Pascal or C++? Okay. So now, what I should say to you. There are two categories of languages in regard to work with variables and data types. first static typed languages, and second dynamic type languages. So when we talk about C or C++ or Pascal or Java or C# and many other languages, we call that languages static type languages. That means that when you create variable, at the very beginning of creation that variable, you already specify type of this variable. So if you want to say some place in your program, in your black box, you create some place, and you create a variable, you already specify type of this variable. So you do it by this syntax, int and, for example. In Java you do this way. Of course in C++, in different languages you do this kind of similar way. So you put data type before name of your variable. When we talk about dynamic type languages like Python, like PHP, like JavaScript, like Ruby, and many different like ActionScript and so on, we have slightly different picture. We just create variable and we not specifying any type. We just tell to our compiler, let's say, let's call it compiler or interpreter. Okay, I create a place in my black box in my program, and this place will be called n, and I could put into that n string value, integer value, double value, anything I want. And it is allowed in such dynamic languages, but it is not allowed in static type languages. So those of you who worked before with Python, this is the first difference in the syntax when you work with your programs, that when you create a variable, you should specify type. And this variable, through all the program, could be only on this type, only of this type. You could not assign string value, some text value, to integer variable. That would be compiler error. Compiler will see that and say, hey, come on, what are you doing, man? This is the syntax error. This variable could be only of integer type, okay? So what is better? You know, in software engineering, there are some magic phrases. I recommend you to remember that phrase, and every time you tell that phrase, you will look like very intelligent engineer, intelligent person. So this phrase looks like, it depends. It depends. So there is no one answer to this question, what is bad? It depends. Depends on area of application, area of your software you created. So it depends. But we could call some pros and cons regarding the static or dynamic typing. Of course, when you have dynamic typing, it is quite a bit easier to write the programs. You quite not so bureaucratically limited. But this plus this, we could say that in the same moment this kind of problem, because when you more disciplined because of static type languages, you write your program in more disciplined way, and what is the most important, then on the stage of compiling your program, you remember we compile our program, we create bytecode, you remember that diagram that I showed you, and then we run our program. So at the very beginning, we just compile our program as developers. We compile. We check our program before this program go to the production, and before this program, someone will use that program. We compile the program, and in case of these static types, at the stage of compilation, we could find errors, which is really good. So for enterprise development, when our programs are very huge, very complex, yeah, it is good to use some static type languages, but not always, of course. It depends, even in that case. Okay, so for you to know that Java is a static type language, and we should specify type before creating variable and use this variable only in this way. All right. Next, let's jump in more detail into Boolean variables. So, Boolean is a really important concept in a program. Boolean. These variables have two possible values, true and false. The same like when we talk about binary system. When we talk, okay, who of you watched Matrix movie? I did. Okay. I didn't watch it, by the way.
Great old one or cheating you one?
I just want to relate to that picture which represent when zeros and ones flow in, and that kind of, all of us know that zeros and one represent computer science and so on, yes? Because of this is construction of processor and all the hardware, everything is built upon zeros and one. What is zeros and one? It is just two possible states, two possible states of some variable, or could be hardware, some electric, some magnetic stuff. I will not jump into that hardware. So, but we know that, for example, let's call it. I want you to think abstractly. So let's call this one state, and this is another state. If we have something which looks like, which could take these two states, we could represent any number, and we could represent Boolean, we could represent 0 and 1. We could say, oh, okay, this would be 0, and this would be 1. And every time when we see triangle, it is 0, and square is 1, and so on and so on. So for us, so you understand, inside of computer, when you broke your computer or a phone, and you will not find zeros and ones there, okay? You understand that? You will not see 0. Oh, I found 0. No, it is some specific hardware, but the essence is we have two states. 0. We call this state 0. We could call it triangle and square. Triangle and square. We could create matrix, movie picture with triangles and square. There is no difference. It is very abstract to call it 0 and 1, or to use these kind of numbers, Roman numbers. So there are different stuff. It is just for us people. We call it, okay, this is 0, this is 1. But the idea for Boolean and for all this binary system, that this variable could say just two cases, two possible states, two possible values. Why it is so important for programming? I don't know, in math, you will, by the way, learn and study discrete mathematics. And maybe you slightly touched that subject before, I don't know. But with all this 0 and 1, we could build kind of logic. So let's say, for example, let's create some logic. Okay. Rainy. For example, we want to go to picnic, okay, with our friends. And we decided to do that on Saturday. We decided if that will not be raining, we will go to picnic, okay? So we could create a black box, given here some input parameters, and get result. Should we go to picnic? Or we should not go to picnic? We could use variable, Boolean variable, to get that result. So how to solve this problem? For example, let us have variable raining. So I create variable Boolean raining. I don't know what value I will put here. I will put it some value, but I want to create a black box which is not dependent on specific value. I will put that value later. And for example, I want to system out println. You remember that we could type out and we can println get in our program. And that is picnic also Boolean. And I want to show this variable. Okay, I will show you in a computer. That will be quite easy for you to understand. Okay, let's try to do that. Yep. Okay, so Boolean variable. I will not put the value at this moment. This is command for me to reminder, not to forget. By the way, we could do this to do. And to do is specific comments, which in yellow you see it, so it will like remind you to do something.
It will also remind when you are trying to commit something.
Yeah, exactly. Picnic, some type. Okay, that's so important. Picnic to go, let's say. Don't like this name. Am I correct? Picnic or like this? Or like this? See. Alright. Picnic to go. Okay. So what can I do? I could println picnic. There is typo now, there is problem because this variable is not initiated. So that's why I have error here. Yeah, and when I put my cursor there, I could read the problem. And by the way, always read the problems when you compile or IDE command something. Initialize variable picnic. Yeah, so I need to initialize that. Okay, let me do that. No, let it be false. And I could run it and just see it is a very draft program. Okay. So I already, let me run it one more time, and you see here false because I put here false. Okay, but it is not what I want to show you. I want to show you, let's calculate, do we need to go to picnic? What I mean, picnic to go equals not raining. And let me put, for example, rain true. So I will delete to do because I already initiated this variable. So put your attention into this interesting mark, interesting operator. So what the problem here? Curious to know, so let me run. Yeah, not raining. Yeah, so everything okay. I don't know what he wants from me. Value is always false. Yeah, I know that. Good point. Thank you, IntelliJ. All right. So now we have displayed this game with Boolean variables, and we could create logic. Now we say this mark not. Many of you maybe know this mark. It logically means not. So go to picnic equals not raining. So this mark is the first operator to work with booleans, not raining. But we decided that we go to picnic when not raining and Saturday. Let's add to this logic day. So let me create one more Boolean variable. Is Saturday, for example, false?
Why false? Why not true? Or it doesn't matter.
We, programmers, as I said, we should be able to handle anything. So in a moment, I will change this value and check the results. I should be sure that my program will work with any of the parameters. So now it is false, but later it will be true. Okay, so it becomes more complicated now. If not raining, and we get new operator, which means what that mean? And. That means and. So specify and remember that somewhere that mean and, ampersand and ampersand. So this logical and. So we have logical not and logical and. Maybe I need brackets here to make it more correct. But let us try, first of all. And then I will make my code a bit better. Oh, wonderful. Oh, that's interesting. Every click become right click. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, now it's okay. False. So my program say now false. You see it here? So my program is not recommending to go to picnic because it is not Saturday. Despite it is not raining, but it is not Saturday. That's why we will not go to picnic. And now, as one of us proposed to change and to put here true. Yeah. So it is Saturday, and oh, we say raining true. Okay, yeah, let it be. So we have these two conditions. It is raining now, and it is Saturday now. So let us run it. And we are not going to picnic.
Because it's raining.
Because it is raining.
So we need to put not before this Saturday.
No, tell me, if our program is correct now, what do you think?
Yes.
Program is correct. We don't need to put anything here, because this operation is correct. So we get correct results. Let's just check if it works when all conditions in our real world, in our domain, is working. So for us it is important that it should be not raining and it is Saturday. Raining false, is Saturday true. I'm running my program. Wow, we are going to picnic. Wonderful. This is it. So, but let me add one more condition here, and I will tell you a story. I've been in Britain many times, and they are very interesting people because they have specific climate. You know that there is a lot of rain in Britain. When they decide and make to schedule and to calendar that they go to picnic on that Saturday, they go to that picnic despite any rain. That was so funny for us Ukrainians because that was rain and we go to picnic and we spend time and it's raining, we're still playing games and we still been in a park, but that was raining, but because of it is England, it is Britain. So for them, it is not a question, not a problem. So let's add one more condition here. Yeah, that we are in Britain. We are in UK. And for example, let it be false at this moment. Now I should add this condition here. Oh, that become more interesting. What do you think? Let's. Could someone of you tell me in human words what is our condition to go into the picnic?
Or
And all the sentence, please.
If it's not raining and if it is Saturday,
Okay. And what?
then
Or
we can go to
Or
picnic.
we are in UK and we go to.
Or we in
Anyway.
UK. All right. So, okay, let's decouple let's broke it into parts. For UK, what conditions should be accomplished to go to picnic? For UK, Saturday. Absolutely. For not UK, what conditions should be accomplished?
Not raining.
Not raining and Saturday. All right. Try to think now about this. I'm also should think about this. Okay, not raining and is Saturday. Okay, so what is common for these two variants? Saturday. Okay, so Saturday should be always true. Okay, let me put this condition in the very beginning. It should be always true. And one more condition should be accomplished. First, yeah, I will add it is not raining. Not raining. And now we have one more operator, or, logical or. We use these two lines to say a logical or. Or we are in UK. So you have some priorities here. These brackets mean priorities. So that means that before calculate overall value, compiler will work first of all, or Java runtime environment will work first of all with these brackets, get some result, and then compare that results with this logical and is Saturday. Okay, let's try. I'm running the program. Okay, true, we go to picnic. Raining, false, is Saturday. True, we are not in UK. Let me change it and say we are in UK. We are in UK. What is the result? True, because it is not raining, it is Saturday and we will go. So I will check will my black box work correctly? True, it works correctly. And by the way, guys, always check your program. You could understand in your head, but program is quite stupid stuff. We should understand that computer is absolutely very stupid stuff. So everything you tell the computer do, computer does. But you know, there could be problems and bugs and so on. So you should test every test case. So in our example, we should test everything. Okay, so we get correct result. Now, let's say that we are in UK and it is raining and it is Saturday and we are in UK. So what result we are waiting for?
True.
True, and let's try that. Yeah, we get correct result. Let me check now and say, for example, that it is not Saturday, but we are in UK. Yeah, hopefully we will have false. That's true. So I sort of tested my program and I understand that it kind of worked properly, correctly. So now you familiar with these logical operators: and, not, or, and brackets. So could I ask you now prepare a small program and then we will make a break. So let's think about some interesting task for you. For example, today, Independence Day. Okay, I don't want to take this very good holiday. All right, let's think that we have two specialties here: software engineering and data science. So, for example, you create Boolean variable. Are you data science specialty? Is DS, for example. Then you add one more condition. For example, for example, I like ethics, Boolean variable. Yeah, I like ethics, true or false. Okay. And what else? When do you have ethics? Which days? Monday?
Monday.
Okay. And let's say is Monday. That it is Monday. That true or false. Okay. And let's add one more stuff. One more something interesting. Let's add, for example, this. You have quarter, first quarter. Okay. Is okay. Let's say. Oh my goodness! I want to think something interesting for you to create. So I just want one more condition for you. Maybe you will help me. What additional condition could we add here to decide do you need to go to university or not? What?
Are rockets flying?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is all my ideas. I just didn't want to touch that subject. Yeah.
Friday.
We have is Monday, so it's not applicable now. So yeah, let's add. Unfortunately, that is it air alarm? Yeah, we call that or something like that. Is air alarm, and you have these four conditions. When you if data science, you could add if software engineering, you could just change it for you. So create this kind of result very similar to mine, but you will have one more condition. And you should say, do you need to go to campus? True or false? So your kind of this picnic to go, that is for you, go to campus, okay? Go to campus. Could you create now this program very similar to mine, but you will have a bit more conditions. For example, we have this operation, A and B, yeah? And let them create the table. So this is quite human, easy to understand for humans. So that means and. So you could understand the result as a human, but let's make it more abstract now for you to think like a programmer. So for example, if A true and if B true, what is the result of A and B?
True.
Of course. If A false but B true, what is the result?
False. True.
Yeah, so different
True is more priority.
different ideas here.
I got false when I.
What?
when
Why?
I false.
Why? Yeah, so this is like experience. Okay, why false or why true?
False is more priority.
False is more priority. Looks like not very satisfied for me.
I guess we need to meet both.
We need to meet both. Why you think so?
Because and.
Because and, absolutely. Because and, it is not or, but it is and. And means that both of that conditions should be true. This and this. And because of one of them not true, then result false. That was, is Saturday, is not raining. These conditions, when they work together, we go to picnic. But if some of the conditions, any of the conditions is not true, then everything is broken. So the same here. If A is true but B false, what the result?
True.
False.
Is that true?
So we have true first.
False, because it is just the same like previous. Of course, yeah. And false, we understand that, okay, also false. And another condition when A or B, A or B. So let me use so it is quite different situation. A result, A or B. If A true and B true, what is the result of that?
True.
True. Okay, what about this?
True.
No, it's true. False.
A or B.
A or B.
So how you explain this result?
One of them should be true. Just one.
Just one of them is enough to be true. If this or this, I will go there. If only this or only this, yeah, that's why we have true, even if one of operators or one of operands is false. So again, true. Okay, if false or false, what is the result?
False.
Of course, false. Amazing. Let's make a break for 10 minutes. I propose to move into input-output now, and then I will back to strings to make this work a bit more interesting. All right, so could you follow me and maybe try to make the same stuff? So you could create, by the way, how to work, let me show you. You could, in your project, right click on your SRC and create new Java class. Choose that, new Java class, and call it input output, for example. So you see it here. Oh, already not see. Okay. Input output. Let me do it one more time. Java class in out. I will call that return add to git yes. So I got this class without any methods inside. Of course, at this point, you sort of don't understand what means public class out. We will talk about that later. But what to do now? Just type main and use this tip. Just choose enter. And we create this required main function to run this class. So you could think about class like about black box, and you could think about main like inner point to this black box. It is how we run this black box. So it is kind of required at the moment. Let it be enough. And then when you play with input output, with output you choose south, and you have the system.out.println, and you could print anything you want. So I could run now and see the results. So this is how you could do at the, until this moment, and I will switch to my prepared code, and you could follow me and create the same. So could you please now work with this line? So we create variable of in, or variable in of type scanner. Type scanner. It is complicated to explain it to you, because at the moment you should know about object-oriented programming and so on. It is not string, not integer, not double. It is quite another data type, means scanner. But anyway, just do this. Scanner in. Then equals new. Will I create new scanner here? New scanner. It is this scanner again. It is black box. It is some class. And we put in that class some system stuff. System.in. So again, it is Java, and some things looks a bit complicated, but it's kind of boilerplate code, as we call it in programming, like just repeatable code. So please do this line. Okay, you did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we will ask our user, hello, what is your name? So just type south here, and you will get system out println and put this stuff there. Can you do that? Yeah?
I can do it.
Yeah, thank you very much. So this is our message to user, which we will output in console. Hey, what is your name? And after that, interesting thing starts. We will take in our black box something from the user. We will ask him, please type something. So we create string variable name, and we put into this variable, we put what user will type. To do that, we type in dot next line. In dot next line. When we put this line, we ask our Java runtime environment, we say, hey, be ready to accept user input, and user will type something. So let me show you how it works. I will run it. and you see here, hey, what is your name? And I could type something. And so on. So this is the aim of our program at this moment. Hey, what is your name? And then our program waiting for my input. I could type anything I want and put enter and so on. So I will stop at the moment. And I will back here. Okay. Have you done this, Blind?
Yes.
Okay.
And in another string we use int because it is going to be a number, not a text, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But at this moment, let me do this. I don't want to overwhelm you. So let me do this. I will command this code. How I do it? I just selected that and command slash. And use command slash. Slash is this mark. And I commented all my code. So now I could help you with this. So we just input some line from user input. And I could take this variable name, and output this variable. Okay, let me do this. Oops. So I run my code. I run my code. I run it. Hey, what is your name? So here you have this new opportunity. You could input something, any string. Here you could any text you could input. After that, what program should do? I choose enter, and my program just output the same value. Do you see? So first this line, second my input, third my input was back into console. And see the program. First line, hey, what is your name? Next line, I ask user to input line. You see line here, not just next, but next line. So until I put enter, all the text will come to this variable. Next line, until enter, I put something, put many text, then put enter, and all the text go to this variable name. And what I do here, I just output name, and that's it. Okay? Let's do it a bit more beautiful. Let's say hello plus name. So it become more interesting. So what happened in this line? Can someone explain me? Alina.
There is like a printed from the system, like hello, just like a base, and then here, like the system go into the data to the string name where our data is remembered, and going like with this значение to
Value.
one string.
Yeah, exactly. Do someone want to add something to that explanation? Yeah.
In short, it's a conjunction of two strings.
Yeah. Here we have conjunctions of two strings. So hello plus name. Concatenation we call that. So here inside these two brackets we have interesting operation. We have one string hello, and here we have space because we want to put also space between hello and name, and then we have plus, and that variable, as Alina explain us the data which we put before into name. Okay? So let's see what do we have here. I will run it. I don't know if I say, yeah, I hopefully it will. Okay, let me type Petro. Hello, Petro. So now we see our result. Petro is data for that variable here, and hello, that another part of our string here. Okay? Any questions? You understand that? Super. Okay, move to one more interesting line. So I type command / again, and I uncommented this code. So again, I output something to user. How old are you? And here is important kind of similar stuff like in line 8, like here. But in line 8, we just waited for line of text, but here we are waiting for just integer value, which is really nice, that we could take from console specific integer value, not just text, but specific number. And then do not forget to use next line after that, because we could have some interesting problems if we don't do that. You could watch that in the videos in our canvas regarding that. So in this case, I could remember number which user will type. For example, age of a user. So let me run it. Let me run it. Okay, what is your name? Petro. Hello, Petro. How old are you? Okay, I'm 17, for example. And so on. So we don't have anything else at this moment. Yeah.
May I ask what will happen if I will write down there like a string?
Yeah, of course. If you want to have one more string, you mean, from user.
No, what if like it is expected to have a number, but I will.
Oh, it is a good question.
Anything
Yeah, we will get error there. So for example, I type something like that, and boom, we have exception and main input mismatch exception. And by the way, thank you for this question, and it is always important to read your compiler answers. Never never play magician, never play just lottery, just, oh, it not works, can I change this? No, always read comments from your IDE from Java. So I read my error here, input mismatch exception. Can you explain that with human words? Input mismatch exception, do you see a sense here? Yeah, exception. Okay, welcome to programming. Exception means like problem, means bug, means error, mistake. So you could think about exception like exceptional situation in our program, which leads to problem, to bug. Okay, it is exception. Then input mismatch.
I wanted something, one thing, I got something, another thing.
Yeah, so mismatch. Like our input is not related to really what computer program waits for. So exactly what we want to try. Yeah, so our program waiting for number, but we input string, and we have mismatch, input mismatch. So always read your commands here, and not only that, but also read this very important stuff, io.java 12. Do you see that, guys? Please pay attention to the screen. When you have problems in your program, don't pay attention to this stuff. First, this first line and then your code. So for example here, this is not my code, okay? Scanner.java 939 line, I didn't write this code, okay? This is not my code. This is code I utilize in this program. So of course I could go to this code, I could click, and I could see what Java programmers created for me. So I could see code of Java system, and I see, but not because of this code we have problem. We have problem because of some my code, of course, okay? So where do I have my code? I have my code here, the very end of this message. IO, because it is name of my file. You have input output. I call it io.java. So let me just click here, and what do I have? Compiler or IDE, IntelliJ IDEA say, hey, come on, boy, you have problem in this line. Doesn't it beautiful? Doesn't it amazing that compiler or integration, IntelliJ IDEA helps me to see an exact line where I have problem. Okay, do you see? So it is, thank you for your question, and I added to this question a lot of information, but it's so important when you have problems with your program, always read these messages and always come to that line when you have a problem, and it will really help you to debug, to deal with your mistakes. All right, so we tried that. We could not put string into integer. We know it now. Okay, let's play with that. So, in my integer and variable, I have something. I could output that. For example, oh, now I know your age is, and put here the age. So let's see how my program will work. So do you see, I just take this variable n and put it into my output, and before that I have some message to my user. So let me try that. Hey, what is your name? Petro. Hello Petro, how old are you? 17. Oh, hi. Oh, now I know. Your age is 17. So this is what we create. Create something similar in your IDE. And so on and so forth. We play with that. And let me emphasize this line. Okay, when you just waiting for all line, just for string variable, you don't need to put this next line. But if you waiting just for one value, it is important for you to put next line. It is kind of how to explain that to you guys, but let me show it like this. I will run it one more time. What is your name? Petro. And here I put enter. So I put break line character. I put it here, and because of waiting overall line, it's okay here. But here, how old are you? I put some value, and after that I put line character, new line character. But this new line character go nowhere, and we could have future problems when we will use kind of the same next integer or next int or next string. So that's why when I put this enter will be illuminated by this next line. But this kind of anonymous, unuseful when we see that, but it is important for you just to know that you need to use this all together.
And what happens if we don't use it? Like, do we have problems with this?
We will have problems, so let me show you just very quickly. Oops. For example, I copy this block of code and put it here. And how old are you? How old are Ukraine? For example. And it is another int. Ukraine age. And I want to output that Ukraine age. For example, something like that. But here I have no this next line, okay? And let me show you what will I have. I run the program. What is your name? True. How old are you? 17. How old are Ukraine? Okay, I don't know. Let be 1000. Oh, it's work. Interesting. You some problem. Yeah, it was my mistake. But I see it works now. Let me by the way check everything. Yeah, maybe because let me print land. Okay, so maybe it's not the case, and nice to hear, but I know that there are problems with that, so let me check it one more time. Okay, that's wrong. 17. How old are Ukraine? Yeah, I see everything is okay for this moment, and I suppose it because I had some printlns before. I'm really not quite sure why I have no problem here now, but it's nice to hear that we have no problem.
Because it's print 11 and it skips another.
If we had not just if we had just print, not print 11, because it prints a line. What do we have just print?
Yeah, print. We just our cursor will be on the same line if we have just print, but it's still not a problem. Okay, nice to see that we have no problems. But if I add this line, my program will not be changed. And just in case, yeah, I will not force you to use that, but just in case if you have problem with that, just remember that tricky line. Yeah, it works it works okay. All right. So anyway, now you know how to output information, and you know how to input information. What means that you could create programs. You could play with your user. You could create real black box and put some information inside. For example, what day is today? And you type Monday, and then you check. Or you need to go to campus, man. Or you type, do you love ethics? And you type, I'm not sure. And your program type, I'm not care. You need to gain your education. Go to campus. So you could make conversation with your user, which is nice. And I would like to welcome you in this first project or second project to make conversations with your users. And now I will use that to jump into strings section. And I suppose that will be our last topic, and I will let you leave and relax today. So let go on. So I will leave still these tricky lines here to be sure. So for example, let's try to play this game. Tell me more about yourself. Okay, and I have string with name about my user. Next line. So my idea, I want to jump into this line and work with this line and use string expressions, which I will show you what could we do with lines. So I have different part of my project how to work with lines, and I will take that and show you how could we work with that. So I will use these comments for myself. Let me put it here. And by the way, it is another way to comment something when we put slash and remind me how to call this character.
Star.
Okay, let it be star, but there is another name for that, but it's okay. So it is possible to make multi-line comments with slash and star. So you see that there is many lines here. If I have two stars here, we have kind of different color and there is some tricks of IDE. But in general, when we use slash and star then star and slash, all between that symbols will be comment. Comment, that means that Java just leave that and not read that. It is that comment just for us, for developers.
So it won't be written in compiler, yes?
Yeah, compiler will not read comments, absolutely. So you could put anything here.
Like for yourself,
Yeah, just for developers, and it is kind of another art of software engineering to create good comments for other people, because the truth is that we write programs not only for computer, but we write programs for other people also. I mean, for other colleagues who could take your program and develop your program after you. And this is the questions. Will your colleague be happy about your program and your comments or not? Will your program be good, understandable, good style, or will your program be total mess and other people could not understand anything in your program? So it is one more huge question about software engineering. We write programs not only for computer, by the way. Okay, so I have this line here and I would like to show you different tricks. So what I want to do to make it easier for me at this point, I will comment all previous code. I have scanner, which is quite important for me, and just have this string about my user. So my user will input something and I will play with that input. First of all, when we play with strings, as already asked, we have operation of concatenation. Concatenation of strings, it is string plus string. It is easy. In different languages we have different operators, but in Java we have very easy operator, plus. String plus string equals two strings concatenated together. It is not so interesting. Two uppercase. Okay, let me show you. I use this variable to uppercase and I will run it. Oh, I have a problem. Method next line plus cannot be applied to given types. Oh, really? Why? Oh, yeah, of course. I want to do that in another line. I want to output that. South about to uppercase. What do you think will we have?
Caps lock.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, I should stop this stuff. Run it again. Okay, I'm MSc student. My name is Petro. So this is the result which we have, caps lock. As you understand, it quite understandable. To uppercase, to lowercase, so we have different interesting stuff. By the way, when you type name of string and put dot, you see that IDE help you to choose different methods which is applicable to string, and you could play with many of that. Okay, so it is for you to understand how to use IDE, LGD or other IDE. And let me show you interesting contains, for example. Contains MSc. I won't check if my string contains MSc. Maybe I want to create kind of bot, chat bot, some chat GPT bot kind of, and very interesting. You know, I could put that in variable and say, but let me first of all run it to show you. So I'm MSc student, and we see that our program has true about that I have this MSc something in my explanation. So I could do this. Boolean is MSc equals MSc, it's by the way master. Let's choose BSc. Is BSc bachelor. And of course I need to choose you if here. I don't need to do that, but I will. So it is condition here, kind of Boolean, very similar to Boolean, but with use of if some condition is true. If is BSc is true, then this code will be handled or run. If I found that it is BSc, then so that's interesting. Chatbot. Tell me more about yourself. I'm Petro. I'm a C student of AUK. Oh wow, congrats, learn ethics anyway. So my program knows that I'm BSc student. So if I run my program and I will say I'm Petro, I'm Bachelor of Data Science student of AUK, and nothing happened because I didn't program that. I could add this here in my chatbot and play with that and play with that and play with that. So if about contains Bachelor of Data Science, then I could output something else. Oh my. Okay, congrats. We will finish now.